Welcome back to The Explainer. Today we're cutting straight through the greenwashing. We're going to look at how beverage packaging is actually classified under some incredibly strict global standards. You know, if you've ever held a cup or a bottle and wondered, is this eco-friendly claim legit or is it just clever marketing? Well, you are absolutely in the right place. We're diving directly into the ISSB and SASB guidelines for the alcoholic beverage industry to decode what this alphabet soup of terms really means.
So, what does reusable actually mean? It's super easy to look at an empty water bottle and think we know. I mean, we've all washed out a container and used it again, right? But here's the thing. Under global reporting standards, the technical definition is way stricter than our everyday habits might suggest. A company literally cannot just slap that word on a label without meeting some serious, hardcore logistical requirements.
Here's our roadmap for today. First, the packaging challenge. Second, cracking the recyclable code. Third, the strict rules of reuse. Fourth, demystifying compostable plastics. And finally, optimizing the entire life cycle. We're going to be looking at all of this through the lens of ISO and ASTM guidelines. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the packaging challenge.
So why does end-of-life packaging actually matter? Well, mastering these strategies isn't just about saving the planet, though that's great, obviously. For these beverage entities, it's a hard-line financial strategy. Think about it. A lot of beverage companies don't even manufacture their own bottles, yet they face massive reputational risks, those negative externalities, if those containers end up polluting rivers and oceans. By managing this properly, companies can navigate the maze of increasing end-of-life legislation, reduce their exposure to crazy supply and price volatility, and ultimately, the big one, improve profitability and lower their cost of capital. It's a huge deal.
Moving on to Section 2, cracking the recyclable code. Take a close look at the ISO 14021 definition for recyclable. The key takeaway here is the process. An item isn't magically recyclable just because it's made of plastic or glass. For product or packaging to earn this label, there has to be an actual available process and program in place. It has to be able to be diverted from the waste stream, collected, processed, and then returned to use as raw materials or products. Basically, if the infrastructure doesn't exist in the real world to divert it, it flat out doesn't meet the standard. No way around it.
And it goes deeper. When we talk about recycled content, the standards draw a hard line between two totally different sources. On the left side, we have pre-consumer material. This is waste diverted during the manufacturing process. But crucially, this excludes things like rework or scrap that are just looped back into the same factory line. Then, on the right, you've got post-consumer material. That's the actual household or end-user waste we usually picture when a product can't be used for its original purpose anymore. Both count towards sustainability goals, sure, but they represent entirely different supply chains.
Okay, Section 3, the strict rules of reuse. Now back to that ISO 14021 standard, specifically for the term reusable. You might wash out a cool glass bottle and use it as a flower vase, but under ISO, that totally doesn't count. To be officially classified as reusable, a package must be explicitly conceived and designed to accomplish a specific number of trips or rotations, and it has to be for its original purpose. So, doing the exact same job it was originally created for over and over again. And here is the ultimate reality check on this. Absolutely no claim of reusable can be made legally or ethically unless the logistical infrastructure is actually in place to back it up. You need a program that exists to collect and reuse it, or there have to be actual facilities existing that allow the purchaser to reuse it themselves. The burden of proof? It's entirely on the infrastructure, not just the material itself.
Which brings us to Section 4, demystifying compostable plastics.
If you thought reusable was strict, wait until you see the ASTM D6400 standard for compostable materials. It leaves absolutely zero room for error. For a material to be officially recognized as compostable, and we're mostly talking about bioplastics here, it has to undergo biological degradation during composting to yield CO2, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass. And here's the kicker. It has to leave no visible, distinguishable, or toxic residue. It can't just shatter into a million invisible microplastics.
Breaking down that compostable standard, it's really a three-step biological journey. Step 1. Actual degradation via biological processes, usually in municipal or industrial facilities. Step 2, it yields only natural elements, CO2, water, inorganic compounds, and biomass. And step 3, the absolute most critical one, it leaves exactly zero visible, distinguishable, or toxic residue behind.
I mean, if it poisons the soil, it's definitely not compostable.
All right, our final section, number 5, optimizing the entire life cycle.
Beverage entities face a really massive strategic choice when sourcing their packaging inputs. Do they go with recycled materials or renewable materials? Recycled means you're reprocessing recovered waste that would have otherwise just hit a landfill. Renewable, on the other hand, means you're sourcing biomass from a living source. Think trees, crops, maybe algae. But the rule here is it must naturally replenish itself at a rate equal to or greater than its depletion.
So to juggle all of these strict definitions, companies rely heavily on life cycle assessments, or LCAs. They're implementing standards like ISO 1862 to minimize packaging weight and volume. They're exploring alternative substrates like wood fiber, glass, metal, or optimized petroleum-based options. They use ISO 1864 specifically for material recycling optimization, all while adhering to the Global Protocol on Packaging Sustainability to reduce hazardous substances. And of course, maximizing product transportation efficiency along the way. It's about optimizing the whole shebang.
And this is exactly why these rigid definitions matter so much to the markets right now. Under the SASB and SASB frameworks, vague sustainability claims just do not cut it anymore. Beverage companies have to quantifiably report on these metrics. Investors want to know exactly how much of a company's packaging actually meets these incredibly strict benchmarks we just ran through.
So, I want to leave you with a thought. The next time you hold a beverage container, ask yourself, does its end of life truly meet the standard, or is it just clever marketing? I really hope this explainer has given you the tools to look past the shiny labels and understand the very real, standardized life cycle of your next drink. These aren't just buzzwords, they're measurable, regulated realities shaping the global economy. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive into beverage packaging. Catch you next time.